Master. Om Ajnanatimarandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. All right, so welcome to our class again, and we'll get started by reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 17. We'll start with Sukomal Radhe Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Dandavat pranams.
Dandavat pranams, Mataji.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Prabhupada. Please get started.
Hare Krishna Sukomala Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Sutapa
Krishna Mataji.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Varshana Mataji.
All right, Vindhyavali Mataji. One Hare Krishna to all.
No, I'm going through the list, Mataji.
Yeah, Mataji, we are
in order.
So she can start. Yeah.
I'm waiting for you to read.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Mataji, this is Chitra. I can also read today.
Yeah.
Fantastic. We added you. Fantastic.
Chapter 17, the divisions of faith. Text 1, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Arjuna inquired, O Krishna, what is the situation of those who do not follow the principles of scriptures but worship according to their own imagination? Are they in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance? Text 2, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, according to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith can be of three kinds: in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance. Now, hear about this. Hare Krishna. Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Text 3. O son of Bharata, according to one's existence under the various modes of nature, one evolves a particular kind of faith. The living being is said to be a particular faith according to the modes he has acquired. Text 4. Men in the mode of goodness worship the demigods. Those in the mode of passion worship the demons. And those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits. Shukumala Radhe Mataji.
Thank you. Text 5 and 6. Those who undergo severe austerities and penances not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride and egoism, who are impelled by lust and attachment, who are foolish, and who torture the material elements of the body as well as the super soul dwelling within, are to be known as demons. Text 7. Even the food each person prefers is of three kinds, according to the three modes of material nature. The same is true of sacrifices, austerities, and charity. Now hear of the distinctions between them. Varshana Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much. Foods dear to those in the mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purify one's existence, and give strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Such foods are juicy, fatty, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart. Text 9. Foods that are too bitter, too sour, salty, hot, pungent, dry, and burning are dear to those in the mode of passion. Such foods cause distress and disease. Hare Krishna. Sukharupa.
Yeah, text 10. Food prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten, food that is tasteless, decomposed, and putrid, and food consisting of remnant and untouchable things is dear to those in the mode of darkness. Text 11. Of sacrifices, the sacrifice performed according to the direction of scripture as a matter of duty by those who desire no reward is of the nature of goodness.
Text 12. But the sacrifice performed for some material benefit or for the sake of pride, O chief of the Bharatas, you should know to be in the mode of passion. Text 13. Any sacrifice performed without regard for the directions of scripture, without distribution of prasadam, the spiritual food, without chanting of Vedic hymns and remunerations to the priest, and without faith is considered to be in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna. Barsha Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, Mataji.
Oh, Prabhu, I won't be able to read today. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so its austerity of the body consists in the worship of the Supreme Lord, the Brahmanas, the spiritual master, and superiors like the father and mother, and in cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, and non-violence. Austerity of speech consists in speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and not agitating to others. And can you please scroll up?
Yeah, I'm scrolling.
Others, and also in regularly reciting Vedic literature. Hare Krishna, Vindhyavali Mataji.
I think
Priyanka Mataji joined. She can read.
Okay.
Okay, I think Priyanka Mataji and Shruti Priya Mataji are also there, and Sulekha Mataji.
Oh, and all of them can read?
Let them read. Let them read before me. Okay.
Yeah, hold on. So is it Priyanka Mataji going next?
Sure, Mataji, I can go.
Okay, go ahead.
So starting text 16, text 16, and satisfaction, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purification of one's existence are the austerities of the mind. 17. This threefold austerity performed with the transcendental faith by men, not expecting material benefits, but engaged only for the sake of the Supreme, is called austerity in goodness.
Sulekha Mataji.
Text 18. Penance performed out of pride and for the sake of gaining respect, honor, and worship is said to be in the mode of passion. It is neither stable nor permanent. Text 19. Penance performed out of foolishness with self-torture or to destroy or injure others is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna.
Shruti Priya Mataji.
Yes. Text 20. Charity given out of duty without expectation of return at a proper time and place and to a worthy person is considered to be in the mode of goodness. Text 21. But charity performed with the expectation of some return or with a desire for fruitive results or in a drudging mood is said to be charity in the mode of passion. Kathy Mataji.
I will let Vindhyavali Mataji read.
No, you go ahead, Prabhu. I
already read, Mataji.
Okay. You can go ahead.
Vindhyavali Mataji, it is your turn.
Performed at an impure place at an improper time to unworthy persons or without proper attention and respect is said to be in the mode of ignorance. From the beginning of creation, the three words Om Tat Sat were used to indicate the supreme absolute truth. These three symbolic representations were used by Brahmanas while chanting the hymns of the Vedas and during sacrifices for the satisfaction of the Supreme. I will start again with Vindhyavali Mataji on the top.
Text 24. Therefore, transcendentalists undertaking performances of sacrifice, charity, and penance in accordance with scriptural regulations begin always with Om to attain the Supreme. With text 25. Without desiring fruitive results, one should perform various kinds of sacrifice, penance, and charity with the word Tat. The purpose of such transcendentalist activity is to get free from material entanglement. Hare Krishna.
26 and 27. The absolute truth is the objective of devotional sacrifice, and it is indicated by the word Sat. The performer of such sacrifice is also called Sat, as are all works of sacrifice, penance, and charity, which true to the absolute nature are performed to please the Supreme Person, O son of Pritha. Text 28. Anything done as sacrifice, charity, or penance without faith in the Supreme, O son of Pritha, is impermanent. It is called asat and is useless both in this life and next. Leave all.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for reading. Okay, we'll take a few minutes for reflections before we go to our favorite topic, the Brahma Samhita.
Mataji, text 20 and 22 about that charity. So, can you give some example like 20 and 22 is saying that you should not give charity to, means you should give charity to a worthy person, and 22 I guess it's saying that improper time or something. I forgot which text is which, but what I read, the 20 and 22.
Okay, so let's ask the class where did they understand when they read it or heard it? Are these the two verses, Sitapa Mataji, for which you have a question?
Yes, Mataji, just I wanted to ask like who is the worthy person we should consider? And 22, there is like
right.
If you please
What is it?
And 22, impure place and improper time and unworthy person. So if we discuss the worthy person, so it is easier to know who will be the unworthy person.
Yes.
Because I just wanted to ask, like if somebody lost his job or he's very sick, so if we do some donation or we give charity, so what will be the result? Is it not good?
There's a good cause and then there is a great cause. Right? So you'll always have to go by that ruling. And sometimes people ignore the great cause and just focus on the good cause, right? For example, I want to protect the mother nature, right? And then their whole life is just dedicated towards that. It's a good cause. Is it a good cause? Yes, it is a good cause, right? We have to make sure trees are not cut down. We have to make sure that there is clean water in the river. And so they are all doing all these good work. And so what do you think is going to happen to them when they die? So this is in the mode
What is that, Mata? Wait, say it again, Mataji, please.
So
Please.
what will happen to a person who spends his life taking care of trees and making sure river waters are clean and forests are not cut down and things like that? What do you think will happen to them after they die?
That's a good cause, is that right, Mataji?
Yes. So, but the question is,
Mataji, they are too much attached with the nature, like tree or water or whatever. So they may take the next part like that. Or the karma is good, so maybe they will be elevated next life.
Yes, Mataji, I think they might be born as a tree again. Tree.
I really feel that is a very good cause, and because they're helping the trees and the water for other people to use that water or something, and then tree also shade for other people. It gives shade for other people. So one way they're serving to the whether you can say devotee or whether you're serving to the humanity, I don't know, but that's a good cause, I feel.
But the question was, what do you think happens?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
That's the question.
Can you say the question again? Sorry.
Like Mataji Bharat Maharaj, you see, he got in. Hare Krishna.
Okay, can we go to the raising of the hands method? And I'm repeating the question. Was that if a person spends the whole if a person spends their whole life in taking care of Mother Nature, right? The forest, the trees, the rivers, the mountains, etc. What do you think? would happen to them after they die? That's the question. And Barsha Mataji has raised her hand, and let's see what she has to offer. Barsha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I think they take birth as a
see,
human.
like a Bharat,
Go ahead, Barsha.
Oh, I think they take birth as humans with a good karma, though.
They're going to what?
Oh, yeah. Now I got something.
Hold on,
from
hold
that.
on, hold on, Vindhyavali Mataji.
No,
Let
no.
Barsha, but let Barsha finish. Yeah, because I didn't hear her answer. Okay.
I think they take birth as humans, but with a good karma.
Okay, so Barsha Mataji says that they'll take birth as humans with good karma. And then I think Varshana Mataji was trying to say something about Bharat Maharaj, and let's hear her out. And then after that, we'll listen from Vindhyavali. Okay, Varshana Mataji, unmute yourself quickly.
I wanted to say that, like Bharat Maharaj, after renouncing everything, came to the forest and was meditating, but suddenly he got involved in the deer, and he had to take the birth of a deer. So I personally feel, though it was a good cause, but still he had to take the birth of a deer. And then again he had to take a birth of a Bharat, but as a Jad Bharat. So it prolongs the and to reach back to Godhead.
So I still didn't get the answer.
In serving Swatai, Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
So I didn't get the answer that what do you think is going to happen to them? I'm looking for answer to that question.
That person will get the birth of a tree only, Mataji. Maybe as a tulsi, it could be,
All
but
right. All right.
yes,
Got
as
it.
a tree.
Got it. Okay. So one vote for Barsha Mataji says that human being. Barshana Mataji says tree, probably a tulsi. And Sadhana Mataji raised her hand. Okay, no, sorry. Vindhyavali was supposed to go and then Sadhana Mataji will go. Okay. Vindhyavali Mataji, go ahead. Tell us.
Yes, Mataji. They may not go to Golok Vrindavan, but they will go to other planet, and then for their good cause, they might go to the other planet. That's what I thought.
Okay.
They may not go to Krishna, but they may go up to the other planet.
Other planets. Okay, good. So we have one for human being, one for plant, one for probably in a higher planet. And then Vidyavadu Devi Dasi says is a human being, but might be entangled. All right. And then let's see what Sadhana Mataji has to tell us.
So I was just thinking that, it's somebody who's put their consciousness into the material level, but it ultimately manifests more material karma, really. So I'm not sure that, it's a platform for much elevation. To most part, there's a lot of reactions. I mean, people who try to do good from the heart, it's not that easy to do good and then good just happens, right? It's a very complicated matter. So it still feels like it's too material for me. So that was my comment.
So you're saying that they'll still stay in the material world somewhere, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So again, go ahead, Varshana Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, just a thought came that whilst looking after the trees and the Mother Earth, you see, if he is performing the duty of Krishna consciousness, keeping Krishna in his mind, then he may go back to Godhead, Mataji. Like you see, if he is looking after the trees of the temple and everything, and then he is serving Lord Krishna, he might go back to Godhead. Hare Krishna.
So you changed your vote, huh? At the right time, huh? Republicans or Democrats? Material world or spiritual? No correlation between and material and spiritual, though. Yeah. So Shruti Priya.
So Mataji, it all depends on that soul's journey. in his previous life, uh, what how much karma they have built, right? And if they have built a lot of karma, that gets cleared up with this good cause, because he's doing things selflessly for other human beings or other living beings. So that will help him immensely to clear up the karma. And if he's already cleared up the karma, he could be elevated in the next uh, elevation of going towards Krishna. Uh, and I don't know what's the next level. I don't know if it is this heavenly planets, and if these activities qualify them to get to that heavenly planets, next heavenly planets. That's my thought, Mataji.
So we have one more thought thrown into this discussion, and that is that we didn't talk about the backlog, right? So you're bringing in the aspect of backlog. Most of the people who answered assumed that there was no back history for this jiva soul who is protecting the trees, etc. So they were answering from that platform, and you have brought in another angle. Is what about his previous thing? And you said if there is some negative there, then this will cancel out the negative. Right? Okay. What else? Any other thoughts from anybody else? Let me watch this Facebook.
Mataji, there is a shloka, right? I don't know the whole shloka, but it starts with Bahunam Janmante Gyanman Gyanvan. Like
Yes,
the meaning is like after, yeah, Gyanan brother. So maybe that jiva, he did some good. He or she did some good work, taking care of the plants and reservoir water or whatever, right? I mean, he may take birth as a human being, but in a mode of passion.
Okay. So
Because he didn't do devotional service, thinking that because that's what he spent most of the time on, taking care of the plants and trees, or. So, but he didn't do devotional service and all. So maybe as a human being with a mode of passion.
Okay.
Some passion.
Any other thoughts on that?
Hare Krishna Mataji. This is Chitra. I still feel this devotee is indirectly doing some Krishna service. Even though he's not doing it like a direct devotional service. So whatever he's doing may have a positive impact on the actual devotees who are doing Krishna service. So that's my feeling. But he is for sure he's accumulating good karma. I agree with Shruti Priya Mataji. It can nullify his backlog, back karma, and help him to get a better position in the next birth. That is for sure. But yeah, that is my opinion. I don't have a clear-cut answer. This is my opinion.
Mataji, I also I'm also thinking on the same lines as Shruti Priya Mataji was, that this will probably help him get some good karma, and maybe elevate him to heavenly planets or whatever comes from that good karma. But for devotional service, I think he will still have to wait. And
yeah. So you see how it was such a simple question or an innocent question that Satapa Mataji asked, but then before you can get to an answer to that, there are so many angles that you have to look at, right? How much is his karma backlog? What's going to happen to him in his next life? Varshana Mataji had she has brought out the story of Raja Bharat, and she said that likely, he'll become a tree, drawing a parallel from there, right? But again, we know with Bharat Maharaj that he was thinking about the deer at the time of death. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tajyatyante kalevaram. So he was thinking about the deer, and that's why that rule got dominated, and then he took a birth of a deer. right? About this person, we don't know, right? We don't know what he's doing all this. To you, it might look like he's doing all this in the mode, in the mode of goodness, but he could also be doing it in the mode of passion, that I want to be known in this world as a person who saves the trees, So there's a lot more that goes in. And one thing we need to keep in mind, always keep this in mind, that why do we tell that don't go just after good karma? Why do we say that you have to elevate yourself to a higher level? Why do we say that? What's wrong about good karma?
Because if you have karma still, you're not eligible to go back to Godhead. Your balance has to be zero.
There you go. Your balance has to become zero. And now comes the question that how do I make my balance zero?
Don't expect anything when you do it. Give the fruits of whatever you're doing.
Doing good karma, it will good things.
Doing the devotional service,
Devotional
Mataji,
service,
because our main goal is to
then you will reduce your
achieve
karma, bad karma.
Achieve
Give the fruits
love
of
Godhead.
Give the fruits of your actions to Krishna, so that you don't get the effect of that and you don't accumulate anything, whether it is good or bad.
Very good. Right. So these are all futuristic things, right? We are talking about that in the future. Now that we have attended this class on February 20th, 2021, right? We know what to do in the future. But what do I do with my backlog, which has got good and bad karma both? How do I take care of that?
If I do good things now, then I'll reduce my bad karma. Isn't that true, Mataji?
So why did the good
Hare Krishna.
Hold on. Why did the good karma that you did in the past not cancel out your bad karma? Why is it still staying in your backlog with the good and the bad together? If good karma could cancel out the bad karma, then at some point in time, if you have more good than bad, then only good will remain. And if you have more bad than good, then only bad will remain in your backlog, right? Simple mathematics, right?
Yeah.
No, Mataji, bad karma doesn't nullify the good karma. Bad karma is bad karma, you will get the bad result, but good karma, you will get good result. So it doesn't nullify each other.
Right. You have to remember that you cannot change it. And how many of you have heard of Word file, Microsoft Word documents? Anybody heard?
I've heard of this.
Anybody knows Microsoft Word files? Huh? Anybody does not heard? Okay, so everybody has heard about Microsoft Word file. If I give you a Microsoft Word file today, right? Can you change it? If I email it to you and attach it, can you change it?
If I enable editing, I can change it.
No, it's a Microsoft Word file. Simple.
Okay.
If I send it to you, can
I can save it and change it, Mataji.
You can save it. Get there you go, right? Okay. If I give you a PDF file, make it into
cannot change it.
PDF file also can convert into my Word and then change it. But normally you cannot change it.
Normally you cannot change it, but it's a good point, right? So normally you cannot change it. So remember, your karma, the good and bad, are written in a PDF file. They're not written in a Word document.
Not change.
Somebody else is recording all that and he's just giving you the PDF. Or you don't even know the PDF actually, but I'm just explaining that to you, right? So it's a PDF file. It cannot be changed by your regular, my Acrobat reader cannot change it, right? Or you cannot open it, a PDF file in Microsoft Word and change it, right? If you really want to change it, then you need an Acrobat professional version of the software. So if you really want to erase the karma which is there, karmani nirdahati kintu cha bhakti bhajam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Right? So the only thing that can erase your karma is devotional service and nothing else. It's not that you take the bad karma and then you take the good karma and you combine them together and poof, the bad is gone. It's not like that. Whatever bad you did, you have to suffer that. Whatever good you did, you have to, sometimes Prabhupada says, you have to suffer that also. Because good in this material world is again going to lead to more good. So here, what is bad karma? Bad karma is somebody punches me and then throws me into the hell. Good karma is somebody puts sugar in my mouth and then throws me into the hell of attachment with this material world. Either ways. So either ways, we still stay entangled in this material world. Like that's always remember. And that's why Prabhupada so vehemently says that in Nectar of Instruction, that, you know, if you go on a Saturday and say, Hail Mary, Hail Mary, Hail Mary, and then Sunday you start sinning again, it's not going to help you at all. It does not help. Right? Yes, the Indragopam Athavendra Ahosa Karma, right from the tiny insect called the Indragopa all the way up to Indra, who is the king of the heaven. Everybody is bound by the laws of karma. And then Karmani Nirdahati, Nirdahati, Dahan, what is the meaning of Dahan, Varchana Mataji? Dahan?
To
burning.
jala dena matlab.
Jala dena,
To burn.
right? Dahan means jalana. Daha sanskar hota na, koi mar jata to. So Dahan, Nirdahati. So it is only devotional service that will burn out. Right? So if you're just making some nice, you know, efforts at preserving the trees, preserving the rivers with no element of Krishna consciousness. I know somebody changed their vote at the last moment and got on the right track. I think Vachana did it. Yeah. So as long as there is no Krishna consciousness in it, Shama eva hi kevalam. It is just useless labor. Because having accumulated all that good karma, maybe you'll get elevated and now you'll start protecting trees in the higher planets. Or lower planets. Somewhere you'll go and protect trees because that strong desire to protect the trees is there. On the other hand, if you do the same activity, like she said, that I'm protecting trees in the temple, I'm taking care of a tulsi tree, I'm also protecting them, right? If I'm doing that, thinking that this is an energy of Krishna, it's an energy of Krishna, then it's fine. You can spend as much of time as you like in the world. In fact, if you realize that this is an energy of Krishna, it's an energy of Krishna, then you are supposed to take care of it. Now that you've realized it, that it's an energy of Krishna, it's your duty to take care of it. And today morning, I heard Nirakla Mataji, you know, on the Vaishnavi Facebook.
I heard that too.
And that was going on. And she was telling us, so it was such a profound statement that she made. She was glorifying her spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. And she said that once some, you know, other devotee of Srila Prabhupada gave something to Prabhupada, you know, gift or something like that in an envelope and said, from such and such Mataji. And Prabhupada then, you know, had to say thank you. So Prabhupada wrote the thank you word. And, you know, she just wrote, you know, her name on the top, such and such a Mataji, that this is a gift from such and such a Mataji. Then Prabhupada, when he returned that thing, wrote the letter back, he put the letter in the same envelope, and then he just said, sorry, I take back my words. So when she wrote the address on the envelope, she just wrote A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, that this is for you, right?
That's what he wrote, yeah.
And then when he returned it, he just said, from.
Yeah.
And they'll say, why was Prabhupada doing this? Why do you think Prabhupada was trying to save an envelope? Because then he traces back that envelope that a tree has to give up the life to make this envelope for us. This Krishna's thing, it's Krishna's energy. So although he was a sannyasi, right? The sannyasi doesn't have anything to do with the material world. So he can just say, I don't care, this is all illusion, and this is no. See, so he had, even in the material energy, he's having and he's seeing that connection with Krishna. He still sees that. And that is, you know, only when you have love for Krishna that you start seeing that connection, right? For example, if you go, if your child goes to a daycare center, right? And you finish your work in the evening and you go to pick up your child and you are there and you knock the door and then you look down and you see there are 2 tiny shoes and they belong to your child. What happens to you when you see those shoes? Something happens or nothing happens?
You feel that the child is safe there or something, still safe in the...
You're happy that the shoes are outside. This means the child is inside, the child is safe. They are my child shoes, right? Right? Or you might just say, hey, the child is running without shoes on somewhere, right? But then there's an attachment. There's a connection that you see. It was not your child. It was your child's shoes. But still the connection is there, right? So similarly, because of the love that you have, and there could be other shoes also there, together with your child's shoes. But then if somebody asks you to pick up the shoes, you'll say, ew, dirty and all that, right? But when it comes to your own child's shoes, you'll pick it up. Right? Because there's a connection there. And so a devotee starts seeing connections everywhere. Prapanchakataya buddhi hari vastu sambandhina. Right? So mumukshubhi parityago vairagyam falgu kathyate. So it says that prapanchakataya, prapanch, five elements. The things which are made of these 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether, like that, right? So made up of these 5 elements. If somebody prapanchakataya buddhya thinks hari vastuni hari sambandhi vastuna, that when these things are engaged, even if they are engaged in the service of the Lord, like a ghee lamp or a fan and things like that, hari vastuni mumukshubhi parityago, I am a person who's aiming after liberation. I'm trying to be liberated from this material world. I have nothing to do with this lamp. I have nothing to do with this fan, because it is made of the prapanchakataya, of the 5 elements. It's a material thing. He's saying Vairagyam falgu kathyate. That type of a renunciation is falgu. It's a useless renunciation, because you're missing the main part. And that is, even those 5 material elements are related to Krishna. They are Krishna's energy. They're Krishna's energy over there. So it's very, very important. It's very, very important to have that connection to Krishna. And as soon as you start having connection, with Krishna, then the PDFs can also be erased. The PDFs can be modified. Krishna is like the acrobat professional. He has got the powers to remove, our karma, and nothing else. Nothing else will remove it, right? Travidya mampo soma paputa papa yage istva sargatim prapayante. So people can follow the Vedas and get elevated by doing all these kind of good things. Udhar dan do, give some charity, some good word, do some sacrifices, all that you're doing. Why? Because you want to be elevated. So people are of materialistic people are of 2 types. One are, they don't believe in the Lord, and who just think that this, okay, now you have to tell me which verse from Bhagavad Gita am I quoting. So they just think that this whole world is created from sex desire only, and the only purpose of our in this life is to enjoy. Can you tell me which chapter from Bhagavad Gita this is from? People who think.
16.
16. Very good. Thank you so much.
Demoniac nature.
There you go.
Divine and demonic nature.
Divine and demonic natures. What nature is this?
Demoniac.
Demoniac, right? The demonic nature. So they think.
Demoniac.
Yeah. So that's what they think. That's what they think, that everything is just, completely material, completely, it's meant just for my enjoyment. So that's why, sex desire. So let's have more of it and then try to enjoy, in various ways, shapes and forms. Let's enjoy this world. So there's one, right? And they don't even believe in death. They don't even believe in life after death. So that's one type of a materialistic person. The other type of materialistic person is that he knows there is something after death. He believes that there is life after death, and he starts planning for it. He says, okay, whatever, this is here. Okay, how about I make arrangements for my own life after death? I want to go to a better place to live, right? So then you start doing the yagyas and the pujas and the sacrifices and the vratas, whatever you need to do, you'll start doing them here. So that next life is guaranteed from their life. Again, the purpose is enjoyment for myself. Still, Krishna is not there. So what does the Bhagavad Gita say? Shine punya marta lokam vishanti. So you will get, Travidyas, mam, soma, papu, papa. You'll follow the Travidya, the 3 Vedas, you'll follow, you'll get elevated. But then Shine punya marta lokam vishanti. When your punyas are getting nullified, Shine, getting thin and 0 almost, then you'll come down. Marta lokam vishanti. You'll come back to this place. Right? And why do you come back to this place? So is it a bad thing that I'm in this planetary system, in this earth, right? Where there is less opulence and, either ways, planetary systems which are higher than mine have got opulence and enjoyment. Planetary systems which are below mine are also have got enjoyment there. I'm in this place where there is dukkha also, dukkhalayam, right? To a large extent, it is there. It's more prominent here. Reactions are also more prominent here, right? But the good thing is that from this place where you are, Marte Lokam Vishanti, and in this situation where we are, where there is Padam Padam Yat Vipadam Natesham, all kinds of miseries keep coming at us, from this place, there is a chance of going back to Godhead straight. And actually, even the demigods want to come during Kali Yuga, even the demigods want to come down to this earth, because in 100 years, you can go back to Godhead. But just by chanting the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Rama,
Hare
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare. Okay. So it's not an easy thing to answer your question, Sutapa Mataji. What will happen, right? So if a person is giving those kind of charity, where will they go? The answer lies in what their backlog also is. So the whole thing is their karmic reaction, and which one will you suffer? And I gave that example yesterday about Dhritarashtra. His 100 sons die, and he asked, you were not there, Sutapa Mataji. So his 100 sons die, and he asked Krishna that, Krishna, why did this happen to me? Why did I lose all my 100 sons? And then Krishna says that, 100 or 150 or 50, whatever big number, births ago, you had mercilessly killed the baby, some bird's baby, like 100 of them, you have killed them. So now you have to undergo the karmic reactions to that. So then he asks Krishna, and he says, why did it take such a long time? Why did you not occur in the next birth itself, right? You killed the next birth. Then he said, you had to live for 50 births to be able to accumulate the good karma that is required to have sons. To have sons, right? So you see, that's why they say that the intricacies of karma are very difficult to understand. Chapter 4 of Bhagavad Gita. That gahana, they're very complicated. So why is it complicated? That somebody might think that I am doing good things, and that's fine. I'm doing good things because I want to have sons. I want to have 100 sons. So I'm going to do good things, and that's why my next life is going to be good. Excuse me. Yes, you'll get 100 sons, but all will die. Why? Because of something you did. 50 births. Right, so that's why it's better to be Tnadapi Shunitena Taroreva Sahashruna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. Right?
So around 50 years he waited for that karma to
50 lives.
again do that. Go through.
Not
50 lifetimes.
years.
Yeah.
50 lives.
Lifetimes, yeah.
That is
So,
a long time.
Mataji, then who will be the worthy person whom we can do the charity? So what does that mean? That the worthy person, who will be the named the worthy person?
Yeah, and we did anybody remember? I did a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, which talks about that. And I'll come to you, Shruti Matiji. I see your hand raised. Yeah. I did a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Does anybody remember that verse? Ayur. It starts from Ayur.
Brahmanas, Mataji, and then the Vaishnavas who are preaching, the holy name, they are like worthy person.
Yes, very good. And I'll just quickly bring that verse up. It's from the 2nd canto, 3rd chapter, and I think the verse number is 16, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, 3 to 16. The verse is Ayur Harati Vai Pumsan Udyan Astanchayana. So Tasyate, remember that? With the rising of the sun, the lifetime gets reduced by the rising and the setting of the sun. Ayur Harati. Ayur means your lifetime. Harati gets reduced. Vai Pumsan. Pumsan means of the human beings. Udyan Astanchayan Asau. With the Udyan means rising, and Astan means with the setting of the sun, right? Tasyate Yat Kshanonita. Which verse is that? I'm forgetting. 3 to 17 or 3 to 17. Does anybody remember? Ayur Harati Vaipumsan Udyanastan Chayanasau Tasyaste Yatshanonita Uttam Shloka Vartaya. Anyway, I'm just telling you from memory, I can't remember the number. So, but he says, but those who are engaged, Uttam Shloka Vartaya. Uttam Shloka means one who is defined by shlokas, poetry. What type of poetry? Uttam. Uttam means ut. Tam means ignorance, and ut means beyond that. So transcendental. So one who is described by transcendental poetry, Uttam Shloka. So those who are doing Vartaya, those who are doing discussions of the one who is described by transcendental poetry, which is nothing but Krishna. So those who are doing discussions of Krishna, for them, it doesn't matter. The rising and the setting of the sun, it doesn't matter. Whether a person dies or person lives, because they understand that it's just a soul that is changing clothes and moving on from one body to another body like that. Okay, so in that chapter, Prabhupada talks about, the various ways in which you can give the charity. And first thing which he says is that
Mataji, the verse is in Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.17.
16 or 17? 17?
17.
Okay,
Yeah.
2.3.17, right? So in 2.3.17, thank you. Yes, that's the one, right? So let me just share that with you. And in the purport to that, Prabhupada gives you a very nice, explanation of where you should be giving the charity. And here you go. So one thing that he says is that, anything that you give in charity is guaranteed to be returned to you. If you give $10, they will come back to you, either in this life or in some other life. They will come back to you, right? So here. Okay, here, let's read. Who's next in line to read? Okay.
The materialistic way of pious activity.
I think, Mataji, I was.
I read last, Mataji.
The materialistic way of pious activities like charity is recommended in the Smriti Shastras as quoted by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Money given in charity to a suitable person is guaranteed bank balance in the next life. Such charity is recommended to be given to a Brahmana. If the money is given in charity to a non-Brahmana without Brahmanical qualification, the money is returned in the next life in the same proportion. If it is given in charity to a half-educated Brahmana, even then the money is returned double. If the money is given in charity to a learned and fully qualified Brahmana, the money is returned 100 and 1,000 times. And if the money is given to a Veda Paraga, one who has factually realized the path of the Vedas, it is returned by unlimited multiplication. The ultimate end of Vedic knowledge is realization of the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Vedaischa sarvair aham eva vedyaha. There is a guarantee of monies being returned if given in charity, regardless of the proportion. Similarly, a moment passed in the association of a pure devotee by hearing and chanting the transcendental messages of the Lord is a perfect guarantee for eternal life, for returning home back to Godhead. Madhama gatva punarjanma na vidyate. In other words, a devotee of the Lord is guaranteed eternal life. A devotee's old age or disease in the present life is but an impetus to such guaranteed eternal life.
There you go. So this is about Sukarbo Mataji, where the money goes. And then you were looking for examples of other modes in which you can give charity, right? And so, doing a charitable act is not just taking money out of your purse and giving it and then feeling so good about it, that I have given money and I have done my duty as a rich human being, the white man's burden, so to speak, they say. And that's it. I don't have to bother about anything like that. It's not like that. Giving money to somebody is, you have a responsibility to see where that is being spent and whether that is being utilized very nicely. And I can tell you, when I was in Delhi, I used to walk a few blocks to take the bus back home. And on the way, there used to be in Connaught Place, those of you who are familiar with Delhi, in Connaught Place, there used to be lepers. They used to be sitting, in their leper wheels with the wife, also a leper like that. And they would be begging for money. And I would take money out of my purse and give them a huge amount. And then go back very smug, thinking like, oh, such a wonderful thing that I did. I gave money. Till somebody told me that, what these guys do with the money that you give them? They drink alcohol in the night.
That's what happened to me also, Mataji, in Denver. I was just working in the food stamp office, but I gave just to people, near the signals, they will stay, they will work for food like that, they will hold. So I just once or twice I gave, and my own friends said, you know what they are doing that money? They will go and drink alcohol. They can apply for food stamps, and only food stamps if they get, they can buy only uncooked food, bread or something. They cannot buy, go to the restaurant or anything like that. So that they don't want to do that. And then if they get food stamps, they'll just want to trade in that and then buy alcohol and chicken and other things.
Right?
Then only I realized that apatradhanam is something.
Yeah, apatradhanam, not to a suitable person. And then Prabhupada always talks about that if you can help them, rather than doing symptomatic treatment, if you can help people,
Food, prasadam.
solve the root cause of their misery. Why did he get leprosy and not everybody else around them? Why do some people get it, some don't? So we have to go to the root cause and trying to analyze it rather than saying, okay, here's $10. I know, buddy, I know what you're going through. I know you need alcohol to drown it all. I know how painful it is, and you know to. So when you are thinking about, doing charitable act, it's not an easy thing. Doing it properly is not an easy thing. It will require a lifetime of dedication. Completely dedicated. Now you have to say, okay, first thing I need to arrange for a hospital for them so that they have a proper place to stay. And then in the hospital, there should be some education about hygiene and all that. But still, till at that level, you have not really stuck the root cause, that it is their bad karma. And they have to suffer their bad karma, right? And so now you have to then teach them how not to get into a situation where they continue to do bad karma. That is where the preaching comes in. Otherwise, you can give money to somebody and then you will be just keeping on going, up and down the planetary system. Upari Ada, Upari, higher planets, Ada, lower planets. Like a Ferris wheel, you'll go up and down, up and down, up and down, meeting birth, death, old age, and disease everywhere. Right? And some you will forget. Next time again, you go through the same thing again, like that. And so, I mean, this is so crazy. When I was 12 years old, I remember when the exams used to come. Vidyavalli is watching me. So when the exams used to come, you will not believe, at that time, I used to have a complete vairagya. Like, God, I don't want another birth because I have to give the exam. Like 8th graders exam was so difficult for me to handle. So I want to talk about other things that come in life later on. So it goes on and on, on and on, on and on. You'll keep on going that till you have to get out of this place. And only one thing can take you out of it. And that is why we preach. And that is why I will try to give a Bhagavad Gita or, a prasadam, like you said, give prasadam to so that there is some relief in their, in their cyclical life through either.
But mostly people say, Mataji, if you do charity, just give the charity in goodwill and then just don't turn back and then don't think what they are doing. That you're just giving charity and at the spur of the moment that person is happy, he got some money. So just forget it, don't turn back. That's what some people say, Mataji.
And we have to go.
I also, and if I don't see, I don't give.
Yeah. So we have to go by what the Shastras say, right? We don't care what people say. Because as yatamati tatagati, there as many people are there will be as many opinions, right? I mean, I asked that question earlier in the day today to all of you, and I got 6 different answers, right? Because you're free thinking people, we can think, we can give you different answers, right? I think this is right. I think that is right. What is right? The Shastras, right? Because because we all can be subject to the defects that we have, right? We forget what has been mentioned, right, in the class. And so that's why we have to keep on repeating over and over and over again. So charity given like that to an unsuitable person, right? And sometimes people, you have to behave like an adult while giving charity and also think of the consequences. For example, once I was watching a TV and they were talking about they were glorifying people who were giving money to some poor girls who are there in some school. They are from, economically backward here situations. And so somebody said, oh, this lady, what she does is she collects all the old prom dresses, and old dresses doesn't mean really old. These girls, they will wear it once and then discard it. And so they are really in good shape, and so these are prom dresses so that these girls can go, and these girls who would have never gone out on a prom dance will get a chance now because they have got a good dress, right? They look so nice. But what happens at the end of the prom dance? So you see, you have to do charity thinking with your mind. What are you doing? You have dedicated your whole life to collecting prom dresses. You're dedicating a dead thing, right? Decorating the body, which is dead. Instead, if you would have spent your energy in spreading Krishna consciousness, that would have affected everybody in good. So, good cause and great cause. And if there's a situation where you have $100 in your pocket and you're thinking whether I should give it to a Ved Parag because he's trying to, spread Krishna consciousness in this world and he needs money for his project, versus you see somebody over there and your $100 can go to a hospital. Your friend is setting up a hospital. They want you to give money like that, and you're stuck with dilemma that whether I should give here or there. Guaranteed, if you're giving it to the Ved Paraga, that's much better for two reasons. Number one, there are very few who give money to Ved Parag people, those who know, are highly elevated. And then on the other hand, there are many who will give money for a hospital. There are many, many, many who easily give, right? It's a trending thing to do. So you have to use your Lakshmi judiciously. And Lakshmi would like to go where there is Vishnu, right? Yes, Vindhyavali Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, lot of time, many times when I see people, they give used things, to goodwill. That goodwill, that name is very good. But they give the used things and that kind of a thing, and they want tax benefit or something like that. Is that good?
Well, it depends on what you're using the tax benefit for. Number one, if you're using that, so number one, if you're using the tax benefit to donate to a temple, why not? It's for a good cause, right? But however, this is what Vaisheshika Prabhu used to say that a lot in his classes. He says there are people in Bangladesh who produce, who work very hard, and they will make a t-shirt, right? They'll make a t-shirt, and that t-shirt, they'll be paid this much. And then that t-shirt will be exported to USA. It'll have some sort of a label there, and then it'll be sold to somebody for $20, right? And then afterwards people will give it to them and give it out in charity. And when it's given out in charity, then they will take all these, wash them, and sell it back to the same person in Bangladesh for 20 times more the price, right? So don't think that all these charitable organizations, you have to be really careful with the Lakshmi, as Prabhupada was, right? Saying from Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He was very careful, and you have to be careful with that. Otherwise, you don't know. I mean, there are so much of scams that when I first came here to USA, people used to come and ask me for money, and I was like, oh, wow, they know about me. Oh, I should give some money. I would just make $5, $10 to this charity, that charity, this one and that one. And then my manager, who's an American, by the way, at that time, she told me that, do you know where this money goes? These people who are collecting all this money, they travel in limousines. And they have nice wild parties and all that from all the hard-earned money that this doesn't even reach those people to whom they are supposedly collecting the money. So if you really want to do goods, then move, right? Move yourself. Use your legs and then distribute books, right? Like Varshana Mataji will carry a heavy load of Bhagavad Gitas when she's traveling from Pune to Calcutta for the yatra. And in the train, she will be carrying those books and going from compartment to compartment, distributing books. That is one way. Another way is you write a check, right? So bhakti means activity. Anukulyena Krishnanu Shilanam Bhakti Uttamam. It requires work to be done. You cannot just sign checks and say, my responsibility is over. Or if you really have to sign a check, sign it to a proper place where you know it's going to be used in the right way. Like that. Okay? All right, so it took 1 hour to answer your question, Sutama Mataji. But we are still going to do Brahma Samhita today. Yeah.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Today's Brahma Samhita, I have a hard stop at 7:30. And tomorrow we'll have a class in the morning where we will do the Sanskrit of chapter 17. Okay, Bhagavad Gita. So yeah, so today's Brahma Samhita is difficult. We'll read it. We'll try to get the essence of it so that we get the understanding in our head. If we get that, that's fine. We can continue to read it over more and more times. So don't get overwhelmed if it seems a little difficult. Brahma Samhita is difficult.
Tomorrow what time, Mataji? 6 o'clock? Tomorrow morning.
Mataji, you should know by now.
6 o'clock, I think. I don't know. I write it down.
Okay, how will you know? That is the thing. You have to understand the root cause, right? Anybody giving you the date every day is just handling the symptoms. She doesn't know, I will give her. She doesn't know, I will give her. But if we teach you how to find timing, that's the best thing. So who's going to teach Vidya?
I will get it. I will get it.
How will you get it? Tell me.
6 o'clock. From 6 o'clock, I will log in. If you're not there, 7 o'clock, I will log in.
That is not
Nitya Sankirtan. Check Nitya Sankirtan.
Yeah, see?
The schedule is all there.
Updated in the WhatsApp description also.
Okay. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
There you go. So this is the example of at addressing the root cause of certain things, right? And coming and attending and logging on at 6 o'clock, that's a mental speculation because you're thinking the class starts at 6 o'clock. What if it's going to start at 5:30 tomorrow? You never know, right? So then you'll miss out. And then again, coming and logging at 6 o'clock is not a good use of time if its class starts later, right? Like that. So go to the root cause, be self-sufficient, and know how to do the things, right? In the beginning, it's okay to answer. These classes have to be taken seriously, right? There are about how many of us are here? 10, 12, 15, 16, 17 people are here, right? So everybody's, time has to be utilized gainfully. Okay, so let's go and get going with Brahma Samhita. And whose turn is it to read? And I would say that on the topic of charity, it's a charitable act to give your slot to somebody to read.
Okay.
How does it matter whether you read it or not? It's all about?
Okay.
It's all about what?
Got it. I got it.
No, my answer. I'm waiting for an answer to the question. It's all about? I'll repeat the statement. It doesn't matter.
Getting into our head.
It doesn't matter if you miss your chance to read. It's all about?
Hearing.
Hearing. It's all about hearing, right? It's all about hearing. There you go. Okay. So let's see. Brahma Samhita. So who wrote the Brahma Samhita? Who's the author of Brahma Samhita?
Brahma.
Good. 200 points. And whose turn is it to read?
Samhita.
Varshana
Mataji. All right. So let's go to text number. And let me remember. I think it will be
5.8.
8 we did.
7 we did.
No, 8. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. This one. Okay, let's go there. And Varshana Mataji, give us this.
Mataji, you're
sharing the wrong screen. Am I?
Translation.
It's correct.
Oh, sorry. No, it's fine, Mataji.
Okay.
No, it's fine, Mataji. It's now fine.
Okay.
Devi, that Mataji, just give the meter.
Niyati sa Rama Devi, tat priya tat vasham tada, tallingam bhagavan shambhur.
Niyatis.
Go ahead.
Niyatihi sa Rama Devi, tat priya tat vasham tada, tallingam bhagavan shambhur, jyoti rupa sanatana. Yani sapara Kamo Bijam.
All right. Who goes after Vindhya? After Varshana?
Me, Mataji.
Rupa Mataji.
Sinala,
So,
Nityam, the
yeah, so I just
regulators.
wanted to tell something.
Sukarupa Mataji.
Hold on, Vindhyavali Mataji. So Sukarbo Mataji, how we read here is that one person will read the Sanskrit, one will do the synonyms, one will do the translation, one will do the purport, like that. Okay, since you are relatively new, so I'm just mentioning that. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Nityam, the regulator, Sashi, Rama, the spiritual potency, Devi, the goddess, Tat of him, Priya, beloved, Tat of him, Vasam, under the control, Tada, then at the time of creation, Tat of him, Lingam, the masculine symbol or manifested emblem, Bhagavan, Bhagavan, possessing opulences, Sambhu, Jyoti Rupa, hollow, Sanatana, Sanatana, eternal, Ya, which, Yoni, the symbol of mundane feminine productivity, Sa, that, Apara, non-absolute, Sakti, potency, Kama, the desire, Bijam, the seed, Mahat, the faculty of perverted cognition, Hare, of the Supreme Lord.
Translation. The secondary process of association with Maya is described. Rama Devi, the spiritual chit potency, beloved consort of the Supreme Lord, is the regulatrix of all entities. The divine plenary portion of Krishna creates the mundane world. At creation, there appears a divine halo of the nature of his own subjective portion, Swamsha. This halo is divine Shambhu, the masculine symbol or manifested emblem of the Supreme Lord. This halo is the dim twilight reflection of the Supreme Eternal Effulgence. This masculine symbol is the subjective portion of divinity who functions as progenitor of the mundane world, subject to the Supreme Regulatrix Niyati. The conceiving potency in regard to mundane creation makes her appearance out of the Supreme Regulatrix. She is Maya, the limited, non-absolute Apara potency, the symbol of mundane feminine productivity. Somebody else wants, the intercourse of these two brings forth the faculty of perverted cognition, the reflection of the seed of the procreative desire of the Supreme Lord. Say Krishna. Priyanka Mataji.
She's not here. She left, I think.
Chitra Mataji is not there.
Chitra Mataji.
I just read Mataji.
He just read just now. Vindhyavali Mataji.
No, I think Shruti.
Yeah.
Sulekha Mataji.
Sulekha Mataji.
Okay, Mataji. Sankarsana, possessed of creative desire, is the subjective portion of Krishna, taking the initiative in bringing about the birth of the mundane world, lying in the casual water as the primal Purusha Avatara. He casts his glance towards Maya, the limited potency. Such glance is the efficient cause of the mundane creation. Shambhu, the symbol of masculine. Mataji, can you scroll up, please?
Yeah. I will scroll after we look at the word first. Causal. It is not casual. and why I'm bringing out is it's a very important water. Causal water.
Karana.
Yes, please tell me, what is it? I was going to ask you.
Karana.
Yeah, Karana Sagar. Yes, Karana Sagar or Karana Udak, right? The causal water, that ocean. And who lies on that ocean?
Vishnu, Karana-devi Vishnu.
Karana-dakshayi Vishnu. Good. And what's the other name of Karana-dakshayi Vishnu?
Mahavishnu.
Mahavishnu, right? Purushavatara, okay. And one more name.
Sankarshana.
No.
Karanadaksha Vishnu.
Yes, Karanadaksha we took. Mahavishnu we took. Purushavatara, you're saying that okay.
Kshirodaksha Vishnu.
No. We
No,
already said
part of the time.
You also.
Garbhodaksha Vishnu.
No.
No, now you're guessing. We already
Karanavarshai. Karanavarshai.
Karanadaksha we already took, right? That we already counted. Karanadaksha we counted, right? Mahavishnu we counted. There's one more.
Purushavatara.
One more after that. Okay, now let's try to understand. Okay, when you say Akshay, Ukshay, what does that mean? Right? Karan, Udak, Shai. What that means is Karan means cause and Udak means water and Shai means Garima, what
lying
does it mean? Garima?
Lying in the Karanadaksha.
Okay. Everybody's name is Garima? I asked that question.
Sorry,
I'm asking that question of Garima, who has to unmute herself and answer that question. Right? What is the meaning of Shai?
Yes, you unmuted.
She's trying to unmute herself, but she cannot. She hasn't yet unmuted herself. So can the second Garima in the class speak up? So what is the meaning of Shai?
Shai means sleeping. Or lying.
Exactly. Okay.
That's what we all said, Mataji.
Can you tell me about, you all said, but you're not Garima. So can you tell me about any other place where you hear about the Shai, the word Shai comes, the very famous situation where you use this?
Adaji, doesn't it come in Shaya? Like we hear that word a lot.
Yes. And where do you hear the Shaya? Which is the most famous Shaya that we hear about?
Bhishma.
Bhishma Pitama, yeah.
Very good. And what was his Shaya called?
Ampashaya.
Shar.
Shar Shaya. And what is Shar?
It's arrow.
Okay.
Arrows.
Okay. So if Shar is arrow, then what is the bow called?
Barn.
Arrow is barn.
Oh, yeah.
What is the bow?
Dhanush.
All right.
Dhanushaya. No.
Shaya is Shar Shaya because he was lying in the arrow of bed. But my
Arrow, Ban Shaya.
That is fine. That part is over. I'm asking now, what is a bow called, right? Bow and arrow.
Dhanush Ban.
Command.
Shar and what does it go? Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajman Haran. Okay. Now there is a word there. Shar Chapadhar. Shar and Chap. Chap means the bow. Okay. Shar Chap. So okay. Now going back again to, so Shai means you're lying down. So when you have said that he is Karano Dakshai Vishnu, it means that he is the Vishnu who's lying in the causal ocean. Having declared there, having pinpointed and having located where he is, you cannot say that he's also Kshirodakshai Vishnu, that Vishnu, this Shai is that Shai. You can't say that. Right? You have to first understand what is the meaning of Kshirodakshai Vishnu. So Shir means what? What is Shir?
Milk.
So Shirodak.
Dood.
So Shirodak will mean what? Shirodakshai Vishnu will mean what? The Vishnu
Milk ocean.
Lying milk of ocean of milk.
All right. And what would Garbhodakshai Vishnu mean? He's lying in the ocean of what?
Universe.
Garbha. So he's in Garbhodak, right? So where is the Garbhodak ocean? We have done all this.
In the temple.
Universe.
Garbhagraha. No.
Where is it?
In the temple?
Lower part of the universe, Mataji.
The lower part of our universe is where the
Garbha, Garbha.
Okay. So then where is the milk ocean?
Milk ocean is the
Have you seen ocean from the, have you seen an ocean?
Mataji, it's on the Dhruv planet.
Yes, for 6,000 points. It is on the Dhruv planet.
In the Dhruv planet.
Yes. And Dhruv planet. So half, you see in the bottom half of the universe is all filled with water where the Vishnu is lying, right? And on the top parts are all your planetary systems. And somewhere, in the middle itself, towards the middle is the Dhruv
middle,
polar
yeah.
star that you see, right? In that planet is where you have the Kshirodak.
That's right.
Okay, then where is your Garbhodak? What is your Karanodak? The causal ocean, the cause. Cause means the cause of something, right? Karana. That's why it's also called Karanodak. So where is the causal ocean then?
About that, Mataji?
What is so special about the Karanodak? What is beyond the Karanodak? Let's see that. On the other side.
Isn't it between the material realm and the spiritual realm?
Right. Beyond the Karanodak is the spiritual realm that it starts. Okay. So keep that in mind that there's an ocean over there that is separating this material. All the various material universes are separated from the spiritual universe. There universes there, planets there, with this causal ocean. Okay. And this causal ocean, although it's an ocean, it also is sometimes called as a river. And what is the name of that river?
Viraj River.
Viraja River. There you go, right? There's a Viraja River. And in that river or in that ocean, there is Mahavishnu lying. And so I was asking you about the name. So one name for that is Mahavishnu. Other you said is Karanodakshai Vishnu. Another you said is the Purush Avtara. And I was asking you for the fourth name. And the fourth name is Narayan. Narayan, right? So when people are talking and using the word Narayan, you should understand that he is the Vishnu lying there in that ocean. He's not the Vishnu here in the Garbhodak. He's not in the Kshirodak like that. Okay. So have that thing in mind. So then what he does is that he casts his glance towards Maya. And we had read that previously in the previous verse that Krishna in the course of his creation, right, his material creation, he does not dally with Maya. Krishna has no connection with Maya. All that he does is he casts his glance
at Radha.
And Radha thinks that, so Radha is involved in the creation process. Energy, his primal energies. Radha is involved. Now they are going a little bit deeper into this glance. And we had talked last time about how Krishna can use any of his senses to perform the task of some other sense, right? And we had said that we also have got that little thing in us also, that we can also use our one sense to, like, for example, I can perform the sense of touch even with my eyes. And there was an example that I gave you, right? Last time, you remember?
Sandpaper Mataji.
There you go, right? So you don't have to necessarily touch the sandpaper to know that it is coarse. Just by looking at it, you know that it's a coarse item, right? Simply by looking at a sari of cotton versus a sari made of silk, you know how they're going to feel, right? From previous samskaras. So similarly, Krishna can also eat with his eyes and he can reproduce with his eyes also. So this reproduction system or the production system is happening by he's casting a glance, but he won't cast it at Maya. He's going to cast the glance, and what is that glance itself called? And what is, how does Maya now come into this picture is explained in this as you read this, as you're reading this, right? So I'd stopped over here just to emphasize the word causal, and Sulekha Mataji was reading and she can continue on reading here. So why don't you start?
I can give it to the next person.
Fantastic. You earned some charity today. Good charity. You go back. Okay. So who's next after Sulekha? Shruti Priya, you are the recipient of the charity. So please read. Shruti Priya one.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hmm.
Where do I start, Mataji?
Highlighted, the
Where
highlight.
it's highlighted. Shambhu, the symbol of masculine, mundane procreation, is the dim halo of this reflected effulgence. It is this symbol which is applied to the organ of generation of Maya, the shadow of Rama, or the divine potency. The first phase of the appearance of the mundane desire created by Mahavishnu is called seminal principle of Mahat, or the perverted cognitive faculty. It is this which is identical with the mental principle ripe for procreative activity. The conception underlying it is that it is the will of the Purusha who creates by using the efficient and material principles. Efficiency is Maya, or the productive feminine organ. The material principle is Shambhu, or the procreative masculine organ. Mahavishnu is Purusha, or the dominating divine person wielding the will. Pradhana, or the substantive principle, is the principle of mundane entities, is the material principle. Nature embodying the accommodating principle Adhara is Maya. The principle of embodied will bringing about the intercourse of the two is the dominating divine person Purusha, subjective portion of Krishna, the manifester of the mundane world. All of these three are creators. The seed of amorous creative desire is Goloka, is the embodiment of pure cognition. The seed of sex desire is the seed of sex desire to be found in this mundane world is that of Kali, etc., who are shadows of the divine potency. The former, although it is the prototype of the latter, is located very far from it. The seed of the mundane sex desire is the perverted reflection in this mundane world of the seed of the original creative desire. The process of the appearance of Shambhu is recorded in the 10th and 15th shlokas.
Okay, very good, right? So for the 3 minutes or 2 minutes that are left, I'll summarize and give you the highlights and the high points of this purport and these words. So now, fresh in our memory, we know that this desire to create something is actually originating from Golok Vrindavan. It is Krishna who desires to create, and that desire is manifested, or that is implemented not by Krishna, because Krishna doesn't do any work, he just plays. So it is done by his expansion, which is our Vishnu, who's lying in the causal ocean. Question: what is the name of the Vishnu who lies in the causal ocean?
Karanodakshai.
Karanodakshai Vishnu, correct. And what are his other names?
Mahavishnu.
Mahavishnu.
Narayan.
Narayan. Very good, right?
Narayan.
Yes, so Krishna will not do that. He will delegate that task to Narayan to do that. Okay. So what he's saying is, and that creative process, because it's originating in the spiritual world, that is the true and the right creative process, right? We see creative process here in the material universe also as this desire, sex desire, and then we are creating something material over here, right? But original desire comes from Krishna. And then we have the Karanodakshai Vishnu here. But Karanodakshai Vishnu, when he has to create this material world, will not engage with Maya in any kind of a creative process. Instead, he's just going to give the glance, throw the glance towards Radha. And now what happens is that Radha is the supreme regulatrix, right? She's the one who regulates everything. So now Radha Rani has got various expansions, right? So the gopis come out of Radha Rani. And then she also has got Maya, Kali, Maya or Durga. They're all expansions coming from Radha Rani. And each of these expansions will have certain things to do, some duties to perform. So the expansion of Radha is Maya, right? And it will be that Maya that will carry out the process of creation, right? Or Durga. And then that glance, that was cast by Narayan, that glance has been given a name. Does anybody remember what name has been given to that glance as we read through this? Any name stuck to your mind?
Ahla.
Kali.
The glance.
Ahladini.
Rama
No, the
or
glance.
Niyati?
Rama is Niyati. Niyati means regulatrix. The glance. See, Rama, Radha, they are the recipient, or Durga, they are the recipient of the glance. But what is the name for the glance itself? It's there. It's there in the screen in front of you.
Mataji, we don't.
You don't see the screen?
Mataji, we see only
It's the perverted reflection, Mataji. Is it the?
I'm looking for a name.
Shambhu.
Shambhu, exactly right. So that glance is called Shambhu, right? And so when Narayan is casting that glance, right? So the glance is Shambhu. And then who is actually going to be affected by that glance? Is it Radharani directly or
Maya.
So you see now, it is now going to be that Narayan cast a glance, right? And that glance is called Shambhu. And Radharani catches that glance but delegates it to her subordinate, who is Maya. So now Maya and Shambhu will combine to do the material creation. That is why in some places you also hear that Shivji is the creator. Right? Shambhu creates everything. It's coming from here, right? That he's creating this. So we have to understand also that when something is created, right? For example, let's take a mundane example. I saw somebody cooking. Who was cooking today during the class? I'm just kidding.
Garima was cooking.
Garima
was cooking, right? So anyway, yeah, just a little fun because we had a very tough discussion today. So, so whenever something is being created, for example, chapatis. Let's take chapatis, okay? To create chapatis, what goes into making chapati? How is a chapati created?
Atta.
Salt, water, atta.
You have atta.
Fire.
Grains. It's the grains.
Grains, yeah.
Okay. Add salt and water to make
it's all about trying to find out the cause, right? So somebody said atta. So then from where did atta come? So sadhana says grains, right? So you're trying to find out the cause. And then in that process, you will go to the original cause. And what is the original cause of everything?
Krishna.
Right? So Krishna is the original cause of everything. That's why the first verse of Brahma Samhita says, what does it say?
Ishvara Parama Krishna.
Sachitananda Vigraha. Nadir Adir Govinda.
I was looking for the last line, right? Sarva Karana Karanam. Karanam. So he's the cause of everything. So remember that original desire to create starts in Golok Vrindavan. And from there, Narayan lying in the Karna Daksha Vishnu is going to cast that glance, and Radharani is going to pick it up and give it to, give that glance to Maya to work on, and then they start the procreative process, right? So they're doing it like that. So, but then how are they going to create? You need something. How are you going to create a roti? You said you need atta. So if I give atta, and you said, okay, I need water also. Okay, I give you water. I need fire also. Okay, I give you fire, earth, water, fire. You have got every things you have got here, right, for creation. Now, do the rotis become themselves? Do they get created themselves?
We have to bake the rotis.
Yeah, bake the rotis, right? So whenever
you have to rolling pin, you need the rolling pin.
There you go. So whenever there is whenever there's something that is created, then and you're looking for the cause. So there will be two types of causes. There can be a third also, and I'll talk about that. So there'll be two types of causes in the minimum. One is the material cause. Material cause is the material that is required. Parshana Mataji wants a rolling pin. right? Somebody will want a board also. Somebody will want, where's the water? Somebody saying, I want to put jeera in the roti, whatever. All that is material cause. But if you bring them all together, right, and put them like that, then rotis will not happen by themselves. Somebody has to apply
Put
some
effort.
work. That is known as the efficient cause. Without that, these things will not come together and will not be created, right? So there's material cause: earth, water, fire, air, ether. Kham mano buddhi evacha ahankara ityam me bhinna. We know of all these things, but somebody has to do the conglomeration process. They have to bring them together, and whoever brings that is the efficient cause, right? So now let's take in our real world that if there is a chair, right? Can you tell me what would be the material cause and what will be the efficient cause of the chair?
Material cause is wood.
Wood, main thing is wood.
Okay,
and then carpentry instruments.
Carpentering instruments, wood.
Instrument.
Tapestry.
Tapestry, okay. Material cause, right?
A person to make that.
Is the
Material
efficient cause.
Material cause, right. And
Material,
then what is the efficient
but
cause?
we need effort also to make that thing. No?
Hold on, Mataji, hold on. Yeah, so we're talking about material cause, and then comes the question, what is the efficient cause? Because nails won't fly by themselves, and the axe will not just fly and they'll start cutting the wood. Who's the efficient cause? One answer, one word answer.
Carpenter will do the job and then present the thing.
That's it, Barshana Mataji. It was a one answer question. You get negative answer. I gave you 6,000 points before. I'll take them away. One word answer. Carpenter, right? That's it. Carpenter. Yeah, precise. So you see, efficient cause. Now, sometimes, it's a very interesting thing. Sometimes, so you see that, whenever there is some situation or whenever there is some creative, it could be a situation, it could be an object, there is a material cause and then there is an efficient cause. Sometimes the absence of the efficient cause is also a cause. And I'll tell you why. For example, negligence while driving is the cause of an accident. You see? Negligence while driving is the cause of an accident. If you were careful, then accident will not happen. Sometimes without cause also, so-called cause as somebody doing it. But here this person was not doing something. He did not pay attention to driving. And that is why that thing came up there. Okay. So that's all to this verse for us to understand and go further into this. And now you will understand that why in our ISKCON temples, we just start from Govindamadi Purisham Tamaham Bhajami. Because it's like after going through all these things, I'll come to you, Shruti. After going through all these things about, how is it created? How does it go? Which planetary system are we? What's going to happen to me? Why am I here? Can I know about what's my karmic log? They're saying, no, just do devotional service to me. Right? And Sarv Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Do devotional service, do devotional service, do devotional service, like that. Shruti Mataji, the last question for the day.
I'll ask one question to Mataji. Mine also one.
Mataji, so who's the efficient cause in this process of creation? Is it Radharani?
You tell.
I think it is Radharani.
Shambhu. What is the efficient cause without which it's not going to happen? Homework for all of you to go back and read it, and then next Saturday tell me who's the efficient cause.
Mother.
Mahavishnu?
No, that's a homework. We are not discussing it.
So
you will go and read it.
Other question is why Shambhu? Is this Shambhu name? Is it Shiva's name or it's just Shambhu? It's just a coincidence that it is Shiva's name.
Yeah, no. Shivji is mentioned also as Shambhu, the Shiva, the principal.
So here is it Shiva,
Yes,
Lord
yes,
Shiva's?
yes, yes, yes.
Oh,
Shiva and
okay.
Parvati, yeah, Shiva and Parvati, right? They
Mataji, last
Oh.
question.
Hmm.
So you said first Garbhodakshayi, Kshirodakshayi, and Karanodakshai. Is that right? That way? No. Did I do wrong?
Which way? Sorry.
No, that Garbhodakshayi is the bottom.
At the
Middle
bottom.
is Kshirodakshayi.
No, 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 no. Within every,
Middle is Karanodakshai.
yeah, within every universe, right? Every universe, there will be a Vishnu in the bottom part of the universe, because half of the universe, almost half of the universe is filled with water. And on that water, there'll be a Garbhodakshay Vishnu. And
Yeah.
somewhere towards the
Then-
middle, yeah, on the Dhruv planet will be the Kshirodakshay Vishnu.
Oh, next Kshirodakshayi.
Okay. And in
Then
all
Ka-
such
then-
universes, yeah, in all such universes, this situation is there. In every universe, there will be a Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and there will be a Kshirodakshay Vishnu. The Kshirodakshay Vishnu, who is lying there in the is like the super soul of this whole universe. He's the super soul of the universe. And then he expands and also becomes a super soul in our hearts, right? So from Garbhodakshay Vishnu, we have Kshirodakshay Vishnu, like that, within every universe. So imagine Vindhyavali
So
Mataji.
where is this Karanodakshai then?
Hold on. So imagine, close your eyes, imagine many, close eyes, close. Imagine many universes are there, right? They're floating, right? And in each of these universes, half of them are filled with water. On each of these universes, there is a Garbhodakshay Vishnu lying at the bottom on Shesh. And then somewhere in the middle, there is a Dhruv type of a planet. And there is the Kshirodakshay Vishnu lying there. In all these universes are floating, right? And then there is the Causal Ocean, big Causal Ocean. And in that, the big Mahavishnu is lying. That is known as the Karanodakshayi Vishnu. And from the pores of his body, actually, all these universes are coming out. Like that.
Now I can see.
Yeah, so you have to you have to have that picture in your mind that, from where is it, where is it coming? Got it?
Very good, Mataji.
Okay,
Thank you.
So we'll stop here and
These-
then we will meet tomorrow to read the Bhagavad Gita, the verses.
These are all, Mataji, these all Shirodakshay, Karunodakshay, Vishnu, they are all expansions of Krishna,
Yes.
right?
Ishvara Parama Krishna. Sarva Karana. Krishna expands.
It's
So you
Ananda.
Krishna, yeah, so the Krishna with the flute that we know is
Satchidananda
just
Vigraha.
plays. He just plays. He's the owner. He's the CEO or the owner of the company. He doesn't do anything. And then he hires all these managers. And how does he hire? He's the only one original person. How does he hire? So he has to expand and create. Expand and create. So to that process, and then his expansions will further expand, and so on is the Srishti that happens, right? Like that. So what is the first expansion of Krishna? Krishna first expands into what? Krishna will first expand.
Sankarshana.
What's the other name?
Balaram.
First expansion of Krishna is Balaram. And then from Balaram, the other extensions are going to come out like that. Okay, Mataji.
Mataji, kindly repeat your question, Mataji. The whole question. Answer.
I can't hear Vaishana Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
You wanted to know the homework question.
Okay, so can somebody help her? Do we know what's the right?
Who is the efficient cause?
Yes, very good. Who said that? Varsha? Good. Who is the efficient cause of the creation? Remember, causes that something has to happen for something to be created. Something has to happen to the material thing, to the material cause for the creation to happen, without which creation will not happen. That is the efficient cause. So my question was, what is the efficient cause of this creation? You have to up till next. You have up till next Saturday to think about it and answer. it might force you to go and read that. But the answer is there. And I'm not going to give it to you because I want you to go and read. Because when you go and read it, then you will,
again.
yeah. When
Thank
you
you.
read that verse, then things will etch, they'll etch in.
What is it verse, Mataji? What is the verse we read?
Number
Text 8.
Huh?
Text 8, Mataji.
Yeah, so Shastras shouldn't be taken casually, right? So you see, when we say we are going to read Brahma Samhita, you have to be alert and you have to capture and have a notebook right next to it and write it down that today I'm doing 5.8, like that, right? Because this is Shastra we are reading. This is not a casual, Saturday evening party that we are having. It's serious business. Otherwise, what will happen? It'll be Shrama Eva Hi Kevalam. No improvement, no nothing. You have to be serious. This is serious.
Thank you for highlighting this, Mataji.
Yeah, it is. It is serious business. We laugh and that's okay. It's okay, but we are serious in it. Yeah. All righty, then. See you all tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. Vanchakalpatrubhyascha kripasindhubhye vacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hari Hari.
Thank you, Shraddha Mataji, as always.
Thank you.
Everybody for joining.